My blissful selves. Today, let us know in brief about Sadhana Chatustaya, that is, the four qualifications which are necessary to attain liberation. So, the food and the clothes can be obtained according to our prarabdha action. So, the food and the clothes are necessary to maintain the livelihood of the body. But even then, we don't give up to do one or the other type of action. We don't remain idle. And if we remain idle, we don't get anything. So, we have to put forth the efforts to get the objects. So, the prarabdha action is after putting forth the efforts to get the objects. If we don't put forth the efforts, we don't get anything. Sometime we may get the objects or may not get the objects, even we put forth the efforts to get the objects. But if we put forth sincere efforts, so to attain liberation, it will not be in faith, but the liberation can be attained definitely. So to attain a liberation, we have to attain four qualifications sincerely. And those who have attained four qualifications are qualified to attain the knowledge of Brahman. The four qualifications are discrimination, dispassion, and set up 6 attributes and mumukshutva. As the foundation forms the base for the house, so also the power of discrimination forms the base for dispassion. A set of 6 distinct attributes. So we have to acquire all these. And lastly, we have to acquire the mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means the burning desire to attain liberation. The 6 attributes are Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha, Samadhana, Shraddha, and Bhakti. So, what exactly is meant by Shama? Shama means So the four qualifications are the power of discrimination, set up six attributes, dispassion, and mumukshutva. So to determine what is real and what is unreal is called the power of discrimination. So that which is the knower is real. And this has been called as self. And that which is known has been called unreal. And it has been called as non-self. The knower is sentient and the known is insentient. The knowing self is real and the known non-self is unreal. And this has been called as the power of discrimination. Viveka, the so-called Viveka. All the sensual enjoyment of this world and the other world are false. All the sensual enjoyments end in weariness and tiresomeness. So they are not at all giving the peace or liberation to us. So what the spiritual aspirant has to do, he has to give up the desires of this world and the desires of the other world. And this has been called as the dispassion of this world and the other world. If the dispassion has been attained, the set of six types of attributes, that is Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha, Samadhana, Shraddha, Bhakti, all these can be attained without any effort. So what is Shama? Shama means the mind remaining calm without having the desires of sensory objects. Then the Dhamma. Dhamma means control of 10 organs. The 5 organs of knowledge and the 5 organs of action. So this has been called as Dhamma. Then Titiksha. Titiksha means tolerance. Tolerating the dualities has been called Titiksha. So the tolerating the dualities as heat and cold, happiness and misery, profit and loss, win and defeat. So this has been called as Titiksha. Then Samadhana. Samadhana means the mind remaining contented without having the 6 enemies, that is the desire, the anger, craziness, the greed, the egotism, and the so-called jealousy. So these have been called as the this is called as samadhana. Then the Shraddha. Shraddha means the faith. The belief in the teaching of Vedanta and the teaching of the belief in the teaching of the preceptor has been called as Shraddha. Then the Bhakti. Bhakti means love. The love in the preceptor, because he will be in a position to describe everything about the liberation and the peace, etc. So love in the preceptor and love in the self is called devotion. Love in the self because the self gives us happiness. And this has been called as devotion or the bhakti. These are the 6 attributes which are absolutely necessary for attaining liberation. Then lastly, there is the necessity of mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means the burning desire to attain self-realization. If one thinks, what urgency is there to attain liberation, and they remain idle. And this has been called as mild mumukshutva. And they think, that they can attain a richness, and they give the richness to their children, and giving the responsibility of the house and other transactions to them. And then they try to attain liberation in old age. But the physical body is impermanent. And if we lose the human body, how we can attain the liberation? So, the physical body is destroyed. So we have to attain liberation now at this moment only. And if that is the case, we have to seek the preceptor and listen to his teaching and try to attain liberation. So that is a must. And this has been called as intense mumukshutva. That means when the house is on fire, so the householder leaves the house without caring the other family members of the house. So like that, the spiritual aspirant, he has to give up the whole samsara and living with the preceptor is a must. Living with the preceptor and serving him and listening to his teachings and can attain the self-realization. So this has been called as the intense mumukshutva. As Shankaracharya proclaims, Manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurushasya asrayam etatrayam durlabham. It is very difficult to get the human birth. If we perform human-like actions, we get the human birth. Though we get the human birth, but we have to become at least ordinary human beings, Manushyatva. The ordinary human being means living and allowing others to live like him. So this is also still difficult. We can get the Manushyatva, but it is very difficult to become Mumukshutva, attain Mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means firm understanding that there is no peace in the sensory objects of this world or the other world. So it is more difficult to get the Mumukshutva. We may get the Mumukshutva, but still it is very difficult to get the preceptors, Brahmanista preceptors. So all these are very difficult to get. Manushyatvam, Mumukshitvam, Mahapurushesha Asrayam, Etatrayam, Durlabham. So the spiritual aspirant has to have intense mumukshutva. That means we have to seek the Brahmanista preceptor and we have to serve and we have to listen to his teachings for attaining the spiritual knowledge. We have to seek the preceptor and we have to serve him. So we have to serve him by apta, anga, sthana and sadbhava methods. What is meant by apta? Means we have to do the work of the preceptor as he wishes without asking him. That is called apta. Then anga. Anga means we have to serve the physical body of the preceptor. Anga. Apta, anga, sthana. Then we have to protect the place of his living. And sadbhava. Sadbhava means thinking the preceptor as the only Paramatma has been called as the sadbhava. So we have to serve the Brahmanista preceptor by all these four methods. Apta, anga, sthana and sadbhava. So by this, the preceptor becomes more happy and he will be in a position to show the way to liberation. You have to listen very carefully about his teachings. Then what we have to do, we have to reflect about that. Whatever we have listened from the Brahmanista preceptor, so we have to reflect. And lastly, we have to realize. So listen, reflect and realize. So for this realization, there is the necessity of four qualifications, that is discrimination, dispassion, the set of 6 attributes and mumukshutva. So by this I end my speech.